First off, rest in peace, neighborhood nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante Davis.
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, B. Cannon, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, based over here.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
What's going on?
Back again with another one.
You know it. How you feeling? I'm
feeling great. Are we like, how we do on time? I know they said we was gonna be late.
It was only one, not 9:02 this week.
Nah, it wasn't 9:02.
It was 9:01.
At 9:01. 9:01.
Yeah.
So I ain't trying to hear that. Yeah. So,
and you had to get your little mans together.
Yeah, man. I had to put Chase to sleep, man. Do you know I got him to sleep, right? And I go stand up, drop him in his crib. Boy, done peed all over me, bro. I'm like, oh. So I had to change him. He woke up. Had to put him back to sleep. After it took me 30 minutes already. I'm like, all right. So yeah, so I was rushing. So to still do all that and get here by 9:01, man, y'all better give me my respect.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't had no faith in us. They ain't had no faith in us whatsoever.
Talk about
ain't
no way. Yeah, all right.
You know, this is episode 137. Y'all know y'all can catch us on all major podcast platforms, 3-Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3-Man Weave _. You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. We also on TikTok and Twitch at 3-Man Weave _. Are we running the 2-man game today?
Nah. We ain't even doing that. We like one short of a box.
Right.
We can't do the box for one. But we got the box.
We gonna do the Dean Smith for a corner.
Had a Gene.
You know. As y'all may see, this is the playoff edition of the 3-Man Weave episode. So Brian can come. Cannon he was not allowed to show up on this episode.
If your team ain't in the playoffs, gotta keep your ass home.
Yeah, so he wasn't qualified to do this episode, so he had to take a back seat on this one. Now, all jokes aside, he definitely had a prior engagement he had to handle business, and Cannon definitely gonna handle business if you do know him. But once again, it's a playoff episode, so we brought our guys with us. So let's bring them on.
We got our guys from the fourth quarter. Oh, shit. He gotta go home.
You know I had to.
It's all right.
Yeah, he said it.
I gotta go change real quick, though.
No, it's all right. You can stay because it's gonna be cool. You can go home real soon. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
They got their attire on. Let me go run back to the back real quick and get my stuff real quick.
Yeah, all right. I see it. It's cool. It's all right. Well,
he'll be on the couch with me on this weekend.
I'm not worried about that.
Oh man. So go ahead, introduce yourselves, fellas, and plug everything you got associated with.
Absolutely, man. Hey, my name is Brian E. One half of 4QQ with my boy Fog, and then I also run BSSE. Be Easy Sports and Entertainment. Go ahead and give us a follow. We try to get the best sports and entertainment out there as possible. Keep it real. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it to my man Fog, man.
I am the other half of 4QQ, the Fog. I also have Objectively Biased Sports. Follow me on the Facebook page. Also follow me, the Fog _ the Fog on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter at the Fog, and soon to have a brand new, revamped podcast of Objectively Biased Sports.
Okay. That's gonna be a good one.
You gonna have that on every platform?
Everything. It's gonna be on Spotify, Apple, the whole nine. I am going to talk my shit.
That's what we like.
Boy,
that's what we like to hear.
I've been in the group. It's been some shit. There's been some shit. I don't know how we go actually take that, but all right, that's all I'm gonna say.
Before we go any further, shouts out to the fours. Throw your fours up. Fourth man is in the building. Fours are in the
Shout out to
building.
my
I see
guys.
y'all. Shouts out to y'all. Y'all here, so we know what's going on. Let's get right into it. It was Black Monday, and Black Monday did not disappoint to a certain degree.
Who didn't it disappoint? Because I damn sure was disappointed.
To a certain degree. We got some firings that we all were expecting, anticipating. We got a surprise. Did anyone surprise you? Out of the firings?
Damn on that. We ain't finna just dip a toe in. How the fuck did Brian Flores get fired? Like, please, I don't like. It makes absolutely no sense. This man had 2 back-to-back winning seasons. Let's not forget when he got the job, they did a fire sale, got rid of all of their good players.
Yes.
Then he goes, wins back-to-back games. It comes out that even with the quarterback that he did not want to draft, you drafted him, and he still goes on to have 2 winning seasons. You have had 4 winning seasons in the last 20 years. He basically put up half of that in 3 seasons. This is what you were looking for in a coach. He changed that culture. He had people playing hard for him. And guess what? They're gonna be in head coach purgatory for some time. I guarantee you. Because for me, who else are you gonna get? Who can do what he was doing? Who can put them on that trajectory that he was doing?
I don't want you to minimize his first year because they were purposely tanking. They were purposely, like you said, fire sale.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not minimizing his first year.
But they were purposely trying to get the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And he so managed to get 5 wins out of that. That was amazing. With nobody.
With us.
Yeah.
He was out there running with us. I couldn't name you 5 people off of that roster.
So I didn't want you to minimize that, but continue.
But yeah, so I'm gonna let everybody else cook because I don't want to take anybody else's take. So I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and get y'all words in. But guess what? I'm coming back. I got more shit to say.
Fog, the floor is yours.
Oh my goodness. We're gonna start this already? With me, look, I'll tell you how Brian Flores got fired. He walked into the office. They said, we're rolling with Tua. And he was like, nah, the fuck we are. And they were like, all right, then you're leaving. That's basically how it happened, because that's basically what's coming out now. And look, reality is what reality is. I posted something that I wrote about on Objectively Biased Sports, posted in 3-Man Weave. It's talking about how Brian Flores is the only coach since Dave Wannstedt to get fired with a winning record. Winning record. Do you understand? This man won you football games. Wannstedt was fired in 2001. You haven't won shit since then. And you've gone, I don't know, AJ, I don't know what you're talking about when you say coach in purgatory. They've been in coach in purgatory.
That's what I'm saying. They've
been shuffling these cards for the last 2 decades, so it hasn't changed.
Let's not forget Joe Philbin.
Yeah, well, Philbin was trash, though.
Exactly my point. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Philbin
that's the caliber.
Adam Gase, all of these guys that they brought in.
He cleaned up Adam Gase's mess almost immediately.
Yes. And it is disrespectful as hell to turn around and let this guy go after what he has done. I will say this. It's the MO. It fits the MO of what a trash organization being run with trash owners and trash front office management continues to do. Oh, so I'm shocked that they fired him, because he had them on the right trajectory. Like you said, AJ, with a quarterback that he didn't want. And let's face it, there's only one person here that'll vouch for this quarterback, and it ain't me. Oh, 2? Oh, God.
It ain't me.
So me and you are on the same page. The quarterback is average at best. Yeah, he's not holding a clipboard, but I mean, if you put the proper team around them, he can help you win. Oh, by the way, you don't have the proper team. Though. You don't have the proper team around them, and Brian Flores is still coaching him to win. Let that sink in. You got rid of a real good coach, and he's going to be a head coach. I wouldn't be shocked if he's a head coach next year.
Brian, what say you?
Yeah, we can get on that part.
We can get on that part next, but it's an absolutely organization. This is why I think that the Miami Dolphins job is actually the worst job. Actually have the worst job. People think it's the best job or one of the best jobs because they have players on the team that actually want to fight. I admire those players who actually want to fight, actually, too. That's why I admire. The team is not actually bad. It's not a bad roster, honestly. They're not the Jaguars now. They're not that bad of a roster. Top to bottom, they got some players, right? They got some guys. They got Waddle. Tua can play. I think Tua can play. If you keep him upright, he's okay. I think Tua is actually better than okay. I think it's actually really good if you keep him upright. If you don't keep him upright, he's not that good. Like he's just kind of like a Jimmy G, right? He's pretty much he's the Jimmy G of the AFC, right? And then defensively, right? Defensively, pretty good football team. Xavier Howard back there, and they got some guys who can play, right? Young guys that can play defensively, and they got some receivers, obviously with Jalen Wall, Devontae Parker, who can ball too. Organizational failure from the coaching staff, and I'm not making this a Tua thing, but this kind of seems like it's surrounded by Tua, right? So, I understand that Brian Flores didn't want Tua. I get that. I understand he wanted more of a gunslinger guy, right? And Justin Herbert, right? And it's all about hindsight, right? We don't really know how Justin Herbert would have even thrived in Miami because the whole organization is garbage. So, who knows what Justin Herbert would have done in Miami if he would have got there, right? So, but you guys already said everything that needed to be said about Brian Flores. Obviously, it was an organizational failure. It was trash. That what Miami did to him. Obviously, he was 24-18, I believe. That's more game. I think you hit on it, Williams, that you said he was. I think he won more games, or just admitted in 2 years than previous 3 years the Miami team won. Right. So, it's a horrible job because you're playing for an owner, or you're working for an owner. Excuse me. That seems to be very impulsive, and that seems to not really understand what it's going to take to win, right? And I wouldn't want to walk into a building with an impulsive owner thinking and not knowing my job's not on the line as soon as I walk into the building, not even knowing without warning, really, or without the collaboration piece either. It's the worst job to have because of that part right there.
Absolutely.
I heard, like I said, I know we were frustrated once we heard the news because we felt that he didn't need to be fired. And I like sometimes that we don't go impulsively with our recording. We let all the reports come out. Even though some of the reports definitely were justifying some BS, but you like to hear the reports to just see what the pulse of everybody, what really happened, and what's going on. And like our guy Reef said, they was I mean to take it off. They had an argument. Came to a shoving match between him and Tua. The relationship between him and the GM is
whoop to ass.
Was definitely not in in the best stand. And the owner's he's not around. Let's talk about this owner's trash. This owner's not around. He doesn't live in Miami. Unfortunately, why don't you live in Miami?
Why don't you?
But he doesn't live there. He's not around the team every day. He has a relationship with Chris. Why does Chris Greer still have a job in 20 years? Why has he been there for 20 years? What has he done? Except hire all these inept people. Instead of making all these these draft picks that they keep missing on. He's the reason why this team is in the revolving door of mediocrity. And it's terrible. But I don't like the fact that relationship is the reason why he got fired. I thought I thought this was about winning.
That's what the NFL is all about, relationships.
100%. But see, they'll tell you it's not about relationships, about business. But then when it comes to certain, aspects of the business, it becomes all about relationship. When they cut good players and they cut people because they don't want to take on, that extra contract. They don't want to sign onto a long-term deal. They don't want to pick up their option, etc. That's when it's a business. But then when it becomes about hiring certain people, then it's all about relationships. It's all about who you know. And it's all about those circles. So they try to play both sides of the coin. But
that's business.
I was gonna say that's business.
That's business. 100%. Is about relationships.
They try. But what I'm trying to say is how they play both sides of the coin is they try to say is with players and certain things and with certain hires of coaches, we had to take emotion out of it. We had to take friendships out of it. That's what I'm saying when they play both sides of the coin. But we'll get there too. But one point I wanted to say really quickly is how Brian, you said, it was kind of it was kind of like a Tua thing that really got him fired. But my thing is, if you're a good organization and you sit back and realize, hey, the GM wanted Tua, the owner wanted Tua, but your head coach wanted Justin Herbert. You go against his wishes. He still wins with the guy he didn't want. But you see the guy that he did want, where they're mentioning him. And like you said, we don't know if he would have had the same effect in Miami. But what we do know is when you have one of those guys, they're going to come in and make an impact. It's a reason why the Chargers had the pick to go get Justin Herbert, because they weren't that good the previous year. It's a reason why a team like the Bengals had the pick to go get Joe Burrow, and they came in and they automatically changed the guys in that locker room's mindset. They got people to buy it.
To be fair with the Chargers, when they picked Justin Herbert, they weren't that bad of a team. They were bad by record. They weren't that year where they fired. I think it was the year they fired Anthony Lynn. I think Justin Herbert, or was the year after?
No, they fired him the year after.
Anthony Lynn was fired because obviously his time management was just like, it was elementary. It was terrible. And like, they were just time for him to go. I don't think they were a bad football team when they even drafted Justin Herbert. I think they were just a team that just was managed poorly, right? And then obviously they bring in Brandon Staley, and then they're still pretty much the same. But but I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make is they weren't a bad football team. Miami was
bad,
horrible.
But that's also my point. That's kind of something that I'm also bringing. How you say we don't know how he would have played. Yes, Justin Herbert got to Los Angeles, and they weren't a bad football team. Brian Flores was getting the best out of that bad football team, got them to win 5 games. So to me, you put that you give Brian Flores Justin Herbert. I think the ceiling is so much higher because, for one, he believes in this guy, and that's in tandem. So just like you want your head coach and your GM to be in lockstep, you want your head coach and quarterback to be in lockstep. So you can. It's the institutional control, and you have those levels of people who are going to turn to. Justin Herbert is your leader in the locker room. Brian Flores is the leader of everybody. So it gives you that structure, and that's how you really change the culture. Brian Flores changed the culture, but then you can tell there's not that belief. Nope, like not everybody is bought into Tua. They benched him, one time to just close out a game with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
See,
he
got benched multiple times.
He got benched multiple times, but I mean, I can't really. Sometimes I understand, you want to stick with your guy, but also Brian Flores is here to win, and he's done that.
Well, the organization too failed Flores because you look at what Chris Greer did. They got rid of vocal leaders in that team. They got rid of locker room leadership in that team when they got rid of Kyle Van Noy.
And then you call it a budget.
You call it a budget cut, and yet he was a guy that was leading that defense vocally, and he did not have a bad season at all. Well, no, I almost feel like it was an attempt to sabotage Brian Flores, to be honest with you, because why would you get rid of a player like that? And it's not like he had a bad year. I get the money was going to be there, but you still had a plethora of cap space that you were going to run into. There was no reason to get rid of some of the. There was no reason to get rid of some of the guys that they got rid of, and again. I hate the conspiracy theory aspect of it. I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all. But when you see this and you see the relationship that Greer has with Ross has some kind of a soft spot for him. And it just the decisions this offseason, and I said it, compounded with injuries, the offseason decisions that this Dolphins team made via Chris Greer, it's all suspect as hell. And yet this guy still performed with all of that against him.
That's why I let you go first, because you mentioned in the group that out of 5 seasons of 20 years, they only had 2 winning seasons, right?
Yes.
Something loosely. The 20 years Chris Greer has been there. Why the hell has he been fired? You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, he was scouting from 2007 to 2015. I think it wasn't until 2016 where he got the GM job. But he was in.
That's still he still showed plenty of incompetence throughout that time.
He found Jordan Howard. I guess we could. Jay Ajayi.
Okay. Tannehill's thriving now out of Miami, though.
Tannehill thrived when he left Miami.
He's thriving in Miami right now. He's thriving right now.
So do we think the Deshaun Watson trade rumors had any effect to this?
I don't think so. I don't think it did, because I don't think the team wanted to go in that direction. And I know people will say, well, nothing's happened so far. The reason nothing happened so far with Deshaun Watson, and again, I'm going conspiracy theorists again with the Houston Texans and their bullshit organization with the McNairs, but the reason nothing has happened thus far is there was nothing that pushed it. Had Watson been on a football field, we may have seen very different turns. So I think Miami was like, well, we don't want to deal with this shit. We know that Flores wants a guy like him. Because he fits what he wants to do, but we don't want to inherit this. So I think Miami entertained it at first, because Miami was like, well, hey, we can get Deshaun Watson. That's great. But when they realized the cost was going to be too much and there was still too much uncertainty, they were like, all right, we'll just floor this. I don't think the Watson situation had anything to do with Flores firing, because quite frankly, once they realized Watson was off the table, they were still going to go with Tua come hell or high water, and it was going to be a battle between the front office and the coach. And unfortunately, shit rolls downhill, and guess who was at the bottom of that hill? Brian Flores.
But now the fact that it's completely off the table, because that's one of the key factors for Deshaun Watson wanting to go to Miami was Brian Flores. Now he's not
that's
there.
that's the dysfunction of this organization. So there's nothing there.
That probably affected, and it probably. I know we keep bringing him up. That probably affected Tua more than anybody else.
Oh, it definitely affected him.
I don't think it affected anybody. I don't think that this affected the firing of Brian Flores. Here's my question for you guys. Here's my question. Look, I agree. Brian Flores was screwed over. I do think, and I know it was another black coach, right? Getting a shorter than the stick. This is called what it is, right?
Yeah.
Here's my question for you. Here's my question, because I like to look at both sides, right? And I can't absolve Brian Flores for all the blame, or for any of the blame. Excuse me, right? He's not 100%. Like absolved from any blame from his own firing. And here's why. This is why I say this, right? I say this only because when you're a head coach of a football team, there's just 9 times out of 10 you're not Bill Belichick. You're not going to call the shots, right? You're just not. And I understand that Tua wasn't his guy. I get it. Not your guy. You don't like whatever. If you don't like him because he doesn't drive the ball down the field or whatever, that's fine. But what I wish he would have done, at least publicly, I don't know. What I wish he would have done, at least publicly, is to at least look like you like the guy, right? I mean, because you
there's been other coaches who didn't have to do that. Jeff Fisher didn't publicly act like he liked Vince Young.
I'm not saying
Mike Shanahan didn't publicly act like he liked RG3. He literally drafted his replacement in the same draft.
Yeah,
so why does Brian Flores have to do that?
But to that point, they got rid of Mike Shanahan because of
Shanahan.
I know they got rid of him, but at the time they didn't even question that decision to say, why are you drafting Kirk Cousins in the 4th round when we're getting our guy?
That was questioned. That was questioned.
No. What I'm saying is, how do you let that happen? from the jump. Like that shouldn't, like, especially a 4th round pick. Okay, maybe if you're just taking a flyer on a guy in the 7th because hey, we don't have anybody else in our quarterback room anyway. But you get a 4th round pick. That's a developmental prospect right there. You're expecting him to see the field, but when you draft somebody top 2 overall, you're expecting them to be there for 15 years. So why am I wasting a 4th round pick on another quarterback?
But there was just to play devil's advocate, there was talk that RG3 was already injury prone before he came in. There was that. I mean, when he came out of Baylor, he already had reportedly already had 2 knee surgeries, right? So RG3 was been injury prone since like high school. So there was talk that they were just it was like an insurance policy. No one expected RG3 to just collapse like that by the way he did in terms of his body, right? So like it just seemed to like kind of just work out that way, and it kind of looked like Mike Shanahan was right. Like they had Kirk Cousins right there because RG3 kind of broke down.
Yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is Brian Flores is a hell of a coach. I'm not saying he's a hell of a coach, but what I do wish he would have done, because like I never forget this. A week ago, I saw an interview with Tua. I think they were interviewing right before they lost to whatever team they lost to the break the streak. I forgot who they were playing. It was an ESPN interview.
Titans,
yeah, the Titans, right? And the interviewer blatantly asked, "So, what's your relationship like with Brian Flores?" And you can see on Tua's face, he was like, "Well, I mean, it's there." I'm like, well, damn, like this is pretty bad, right? This is pretty bad, and like, I just one of the reasons why I just kind of wish that Brian Flores would at least would have worked with Tua in terms of their relationship, right? And at least try to like I mean, he did try to get the best out of him. Don't get me wrong, but like, you know, getting in a shoving match with your second year quarterback, to me, that's
who started it.
We don't know who started it, but at the end of the day, the coach is the coach, right? He's the leader of the team, right? So like, it's just not a good look on his part at all, right? So it's just one of those things where like, man, like, and Tua is not a guy that's gonna. He doesn't really come across as a guy that's gonna be like, you know, who's very like, you know, out there or outspoken, or like, he seems like to be a pretty even keeled dude too, right? So like, you know, Brian Flores clearly showed publicly and privately he hated this kid, and you know, part of me kind of feels like, you know, he would have just, I don't know, bit the bullet a little bit. At least do what you can do.
Here's my thing. You ever been working on a group? You ever been working on a project? You ever been?
And then show it doesn't work, and then show it goes to ownership. So look, I've done all I can with this kid. It's not working.
Here's my thing. You ever had a project or something where it's like, yo, I have all the pieces in place. This shit is going to be a great product. But this one motherfucker is holding me back.
But
you're not holding your weight in the group project. I need you to hold your weight in this group project. But you come in late. You don't know how to publicly speak. You don't know how to perform. You don't know how to add no input. We carrying your ass along. This shit could really be a well-oiled machine. If you
didn't run your Wi-Fi on dial-up.
You know. So Brian Flores, he knows that. Look, I have to win. This is my job too. Yes, I want to win. We're a team and everything.
He was winning, though. Yeah, that's the part he was
exactly. He was winning in spite of. So if I'm like, when you know as a black coach, you're always getting evaluated for your job. He's like, I need to take giant steps. I can't have incremental progress. You don't have time for that.
Okay.
You don't have time for incremental progress. I need to jump.
Especially with the win now. We want immediate results, right?
I disagree with that.
So he's tackled the big bad Belichick. He's put 2 back-to-back winning seasons. If he feels like I'm watching the guy that I want in Los Angeles do the things that like everybody thought he could do and more, and now I'm just like, well, damn, y'all like I wanted to swipe right, and y'all told me no.
But okay, but I think to Brian's point is You didn't even try. Like how many coaches? Let's just think. But how many coaches in the league don't always get their guy? Like in the draft, let's just say
100%.
like every coach is always 100% always get their guys. Like every pick, they like, damn, who is this guy? Like
we heard what Vic Fangio said.
Vic, he knew he was getting up out of there.
Vic said, "Man, fuck y'all. Every day we go out here with 3 downs of ass. Y'all suck."
I think Vic Fangio was packing while he was at the press conference. He knew what time it was. But what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, you knew, like every coach doesn't get everything. Like you don't get everything that you want. So it's at some point, you have to hold up. Sometimes you have to at least coach, bro. Tua came from Bama. Come on, bro. We know the asshole that Nick Saban is. Like we know he can handle hard coaching. At some point, maybe if you'd acted like you cared and coddled them, catered to him at least, it made him feel a little good. And that's why your ass is gone. And that's why your ass is gone. And that's why your ass is going. No, hold on. Exactly. You want to be so headstrong. You want to be so. I want to be militant. And you'll do what I say. And all. That's why your ass is going. If you'd have played a part and you know what, and bought in onto it, maybe you would still have a job right now. And maybe you wouldn't be floating around in the cycle.
How you relate to somebody, right?
And or try to have a more positive attitude. You don't have to like the person. You don't have to like the person. I manage personalities all the time.
Like when you bench something, like he benched. They handle Tua. Tua has been failed in Miami, in my opinion. He's been failed.
I don't know if he's been failed, but
I want to go that far.
I won't go that far.
I don't think he's been failed.
They haven't put any talent around him besides Jalen Waddle. They don't have a line.
What about Mike Gesicki? You can't say they haven't put talent around him.
Okay, my fault. What's his name again?
Mike Gesicki.
Mike Gesicki.
Okay, Mike Gesicki. And
that's
who
a good tight end.
Devontae Parker. He's not been healthy, but he's been pretty good. So
Devontae Parker, who hasn't played.
Listen, they've done a good job with the defensive personnel.
Hey, look, Dolphins fans was arguing with me before the season that they had some of the best wide receiving options in the league, but we won't go there. But let me just say one more thing. Let me say one more thing really quickly is when a new head coach gets a job, what's one of the things that they usually do? They want to get their guy at quarterback. And I know you said how many guys actually get their guy, but how many guys want a guy? He's there in front of you, and then you get overruled. Because remember, when you become a head coach, 9 times out of 10, you are tied to that quarterback. And most coaches get fired because they couldn't find the quarterback. Vic Fangio, so I'm saying, so it's just like, if I understand, hey, I want my guy, I want to get this guy, and a team jumps in front of me and they get him. Yeah. But when he's sitting right there in front of me, it's like, well, shit.
Yeah, but at some point, when are you gonna get over it?
I was about to say the same
thing. But God damn,
when I go to Chicago.
If
yeah, fine. I mean, he can go to Chicago.
Realistically, he didn't even have a full season with him, though.
He was at Tua? No, he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't even have a full season. So, like, he had reasons, and there were reasons there that the front office should have accepted. Like, hey, listen, you know what? You might be right, rather than just sitting back and fighting against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did tank for Tua.
That's all we heard that year. That's all we heard that year. It was taken for Tua, and they still got their guy after messing it up. That's all we heard. We didn't hear take for Herbert. Hey, it can be wrong. It can be wrong. But all we heard was taking for Tua.
He knew he was coming.
Yeah, we didn't hear take it for Burrow. We didn't hear take it for Herbert. We heard take it for Tua. That's all we heard. So at some point,
in their defense, nobody was tanking for Burrow until about like November, when it was like, oh, this motherfucker good.
That's fine, bro.
Nobody was tanking for Burrow.
But at some point,
never.
At some point, get over it.
Yeah.
At some point, get over it, bro. Like you had a whole tough love year. Now you're doing all this tough love without a championship on your resume, and you may not possibly get another job again. We can dive into it right now. Oh, he's getting interviews in Chicago. Oh, he may get the Minnesota job. He may be in the.
Next year.
He's not Mike. He may not get another head coaching job again.
He's not working next year.
He may not get another head coaching job again. We've seen this movie before.
Oh, 100%.
We got all the hope. We got all the hope in the world. We got all the hope in the world. Yeah, he's a great coach. Look what he did. Look at his record. Look at all the numbers. They look at all the numbers when they want to, but then they all of a sudden they get amnesia or they get blind when they come to our numbers. Let's be honest. Since we want to be here, he may get another job, or his ass may be a defensive coordinator for the rest of his life. Simple.
No, that's true. That's true. But I honestly think I really believe that he has an opportunity to get another job, because I don't think there's a lot of respect amongst NFL owners for the Stephen Ross and the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
So I really think that that's going to be one of those. It's going to be an anomaly situation.
Jim Caldwell hasn't hired yet.
Huh?
Do a lot of owners have high respect for the Lions organization?
Actually, they do. There's a lot of influence coming from the Fords. Ironically, in Detroit, it's pretty wild. Stephen Ross is not only absent on his fucking team, he's absent with the NFL ownership as well. He's like that one guy that shows up every now and then. Okay, what are we doing here today?
Yeah. Yeah, he's an outcast.
So there is an opportunity. I really believe, and again, this is a guy from the Belichick tree who actually succeeded. He's not a fuck up like Matt Patricia or Josh McDaniels or however many other coaches that came out of the line there that just flat out screwed up. He actually had success, and he did it with shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We hope. We hope he get another job.
My heart thinks he will, but I mean, again, Jim Caldwell hasn't been hired, and he went 36-28 in 2 playoff appearances with the Lions.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to say that Jim Caldwell is old.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna say this too, because there's 2 things that really, like, I sit back and I scratch my head on, and I look at Jim Caldwell and I look at Lovie Smith in their situations. Both coaches, black coaches, who got fired. I'm going to say these are 2 there's nothing that comes out about them and why they haven't gotten head coaching jobs again. There's nothing. Nobody talks there's nothing. These are 2 grown-ass black men who, in my opinion, are down for the cause. And they're like, I'm not taking anything else but a fucking head coaching job at this point. And if you want me to come in as your DC, go fuck yourself. I'm a head coach. I was a winning head coach. In Lovie Smith's case, I took Rex Grossman to the goddamn Super Bowl.
And let's not forget what happened. Let's not forget what happened with Lovie Smith. Also, Lovie Smith was showing promise. Oh, but we want to get our guy for Jameis Winston.
Dirk Cutter. Yep. And what happened the next year?
With Jameis Winston.
Dirk Cutter was back being an OC somewhere after 1 season.
After 1 season.
Exactly my point. And you had Lovie Smith putting you on the right trajectory. The same thing that we've been seeing. They've like every excuse gets made when it you'll hear every single reason under the sun when it comes to firing a black coach. And like we had like I said, when we had our Hugh Jackson episode before he joined us, where it was like Hugh Jackson pretty much basically got fired because he was like, hey, Baker's not ready yet.
Yep.
He kept Tyrod Taylor in. Baker's not ready yet. Tyrod gets hurt, which seems to happen every fucking where he goes, and someone replaces him. But Baker comes in, looks like a little something, has a little bit of success the next season. They go on. And what I said, and I got clowned for when we were on with JDF, I remember it. I said Baker feasts on bad teams. He doesn't look good when he plays against good teams. And, they said, oh, but that's what's supposed to happen. Yes, but if you have the guy, if you are that guy, if you are that number 1 guy, I need you to overcome good teams as well. Don't just feast on bad teams. And
don't trigger Brian. Don't trigger Brian, please.
I see it. And now we're starting to see Baker like he wasn't ready. So at the end of the day, it's just like, hey, you brought in Freddie Kitchens because, he's good with Baker. Motherfucker was gone again, just like Dirk Cutter.
Dirk Cutter.
The guy you said, we need our guy who's been in his ear the whole time that he has a relationship with. We need him to, run this team. No, just because you are good with the quarterback don't mean you know how to run a team.
Yep.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong about Brian Flores. I hope he gets another job. I hope he gets in the right situation. I hope he gets, I hope he gets another job. The thing about it, I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
All the reason why I don't see it is because how he left Miami. And I understand what you're saying. I understand that you say that the Stephen Ross and the Miami Dolphins don't get a lot of respect, but they still talk. Owners still talk, and they're going to want to know, why did you get rid of this guy? And they may say some things that aren't in his favor. And there were some reports that he was trying to run things like the Patriot way, and it was rubbing off the wrong way of some players. And I would want Brian, if I didn't have Mike Tomlin, I would want Brian Flores.
Every coach that leaves the Patriots tries to implement the Patriot way, and they always fail. He actually was succeeding. He actually had those guys buying in, and they were winning.
And that's exactly the big difference there, because Brian Flores,
he was implementing the Patriot way in the Patriots fucking division.
He was doing it. He was doing it, but what I'm saying is, I'm just looking at it from a perspective of.
Yeah, but Brian, you got to understand the reports of him rubbing players the wrong way. It was some of these younger players coming in. The older veterans, he handled very well, and those guys were willing to play for him. And there was a lot of young players.
It's a different league. It's a young man's league. It's a different game, right? So you got guys.
But Bill Belichick still got the fucking Patriots sitting where they're sitting right now.
Say again?
With Mac fucking Jones at quarterback.
You have to win. You have to win. That's it. You have to win.
I just worry about how Brian Flores left. It's messy, and then it could hurt him in getting another job. Is what I'm saying.
You're absolutely right, because outside of Adam Gase, Tony Sparano, Joe Philbin, none of those guys got head coaching jobs again. But again, none of those guys had the success with less than Brian Flores did.
The route that he should go is he should take the Dan Quinn route. He should try to find a prominent job with a lot of notoriety, and just win with this defensive, and you'll be on the trajectory of the next head coaching cycle. Because Dan Quinn
want him taking that route. He shouldn't have to.
Shouldn't have to at all.
It may be what he might have to do, because I don't think he's getting a job this year. Like, I don't think he's going from head coach to head. I don't see. In this league, I'll be stunned if a black man goes from a head coach to head coach. I'll be stunned if that happens.
But if you take a prominent DC position, with all the notoriety, all the media glamour,
we don't know about that.
If they're going to forget what happened in Atlanta with Dan Quinn, and all of a sudden they're ready to rehire him only being a year removed, then
what's the difference between Dan Quinn and Brian Flores?
Get some results is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Look, man,
get some results. One of the
most notable offenses in the NFL is the Chiefs, and we've been waiting for Eric Bieniemy to get a job for how many seasons?
We always get one. We get one top candidate. We get one top candidate a year. We get one. Go get a prominent.
It was David Culley last year or something.
That's not the candidate we're talking about. We know that. We're not, and we definitely not gonna do that. You know better than that. Come on.
But you see what I'm saying, man? Like,
I already know. I know what you're saying.
But here's the thing: to say that he should settle for, like, man, fuck that, bro.
I'm not saying settle. I'm saying take the route that you're going to have to go, or sit home. Okay, sit home. Go ahead, sit home. And we can.
I don't like it. I don't like what Donald's saying, but I understand what he's saying. I get it.
No, I understand. I understand what he's saying, but what I'm saying is that's the point. Right. That's the fucked up shit about it.
No, you're right. No,
that's my point.
I understand your point, but what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Because first off, he can't coach hard. He can't coach him hard. He got to coddle his players now, and now all of a sudden we want him to just skip the process and go get the job. Like, which one do we want to do? We're not going to get this. It's just reality. We're not going to get it. He's not going to get an Adam Gase opportunity. It's just that plain and simple.
He gonna get a job, bro.
Okay, and I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Like,
I hope
He will.
Fogg
He
is
will.
right. I hope Fogg is right in terms of
He will be a head coach. He will be a head coach next season.
respecting what the Dolphins and how they operate over there, down there in Miami, and they look by that and say, no, over there in Miami, it's weird over there. We'll give you a chance. We'll bet over here. Like, I hope that's the case, but I just know these owners are so interlinked. These owners are so interlinked. They think alike, right? A lot of them do, at least. A lot of them do. Not all of them. A lot of them do. And I just feel like it's like any other job, right? You get references. Before you hire anybody, you call the previous job and say, yo, what's good with this dude? And unfortunately, I hate the fact that it's like that, but I hate the fact that sometimes it's in that person's hands in terms of, whether you get the position or not.
Well,
right?
the good thing is Bill Belichick disciples always get second chances.
Who?
Let's take a chance.
Romeo Crennel.
He was interim.
Hey, got
what's his name? No, but he also got head coach.
He was the Browns, right?
Yeah.
He went from the Patriots to the Browns. He was interim for the Texans. He didn't get the job, did he?
Yeah, the Chiefs first. He was the Chiefs head coach first.
Yes.
Was he?
Yeah, that's the first job that he got. He was
for Andy Reid. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And who's the other idiot that the offensive coordinator when Cornell was over there as a DC? Charlie Weiss. Charlie Weiss. He could have gotten to say no. He turned down opportunities. His bum ass could have gotten an opportunity in the NFL again.
I mean, they're still waiting to give Josh McDaniels another chance.
Yep. Josh McDaniels.
Charlie Weiss went from. Didn't he go from the Patriots to Notre Dame, or did he have NFL style?
He went to Notre Dame.
Yes, so he didn't get another chance to he didn't go to the NFL, get fired, and go to Notre Dame, right?
But what Fogg was saying, I think people gave him the opportunity to.
Yeah, the opportunities were there.
But while he was winning at Notre Dame, though,
these guys had chances.
Because he was the OC at Kansas City when Cornell was there for a year.
Yeah,
and then he went back to college.
Yep.
But these back to Flores.
Right, he went to Kansas.
Back to Flores before we transition.
He went to Florida first.
Florida.
These jobs that's open, they're not prime for a Flores. They're not prime for Flores. I'm sorry. The Jags, they're probably looking for a coach that's going to be able to coach Trevor Lawrence. Same thing for Chicago. They're probably looking for a guy that can coach Justin Fields. If he does, the Broncos don't have a quarterback. So why they're not. They may not go there.
I wouldn't touch New York with a 10-foot pole.
You wouldn't touch New York because of Daniel Jones. Also, Minnesota's his only hope because they have a team primed and ready,
right,
for an upgraded coach.
You don't think? I think they would give him if he wants to coach Justin Fields. I think they would give him a shot.
Here's my thing.
Most of the time, they look for an offensive guy. For that young coach, for that young quarterback. So, hey, that's the only.
Here's also one thing I think that you would get with Brian Flores. Brian Flores has been in the league, and so I think if you can get Brian Flores into an interview, a lot of times, yes, you want those guys. But what have I always said? Sometimes you want a head coach who's just going to be able to lead, and he can put together a staff to put all those other people in place. So yeah, because like we said, just because Dirk Cutter was a good offensive coordinator and worked well with Jameis Winston doesn't mean he can be a head coach. Sometimes you want somebody that's going to be able to get guys up and play for you. And that's what Brian Flores showed that he could do. And so if he can show that, hey, I can put together this staff, I'm going to bring this offensive guy with me. We're going to run this system and we can maximize either Justin Fields, or we're going to put this offense with Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, or whatever the case may be. Or even, hey, I'm coming to the Broncos. I'm going full steam ahead to get this player, and Deshaun still want to go wherever I go, wherever, if that's quote unquote something that they're trying to do. I think he can get one of these jobs. I think he has the personality to get there.
But what did I always tell Kenny? You're thinking logical, right?
Oh, 100%.
They don't. We've seen some of the coaches hired. But we
remember Joe Judge got hired, and we was like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Exactly.
That was just bullshit. That was the BS.
And it was
Listen,
clear.
I have no problem with Joe Judge at all. I'm disappointed he got fired.
Yes. Yes.
My feelings are hurt. I'm disappointed I like the Giants where they were.
Yes.
We should protest. We should protest, Paul.
BS.
I like the Giants where they were. Where's Cannon? God damn it! I need some backup on this. I like the Giants where they were.
I'm with you. My feelings were hurt. I was so sad. I wanted to cry. I'm team cry. Damn it, Joe. Wait, tell him something, Joe.
Damn, why they fired Joe of all people? He was doing so good.
Not my God.
All right, so it's all right. So it's wild card weekend. So we're going to go through this. All our
I don't want to go through this. I don't want to go through this.
Your ass is going through it. Pause.
Wait a minute. What are we talking about here?
I said pause. So this is how it's gonna go. We're gonna go in order.
Y'all didn't start the show late. Y'all be starting late. I say these things now.
It may transition right to.
Wait, hold on a second. This is that WBLS shit. This is the 3-man weave after dark.
Coming to you live.
So we're gonna go in order, and if your team is playing, you get to go last. That's how we're gonna go.
Okay.
So let's get it.
Okay.
Oh wait,
not
let's remove that. That's not the right one. So I've been trying.
Your team is first.
Yeah, my team is first, and I don't know if you guys have noticed. I've actually been fighting with my screen share while we've been recording because I knew it was starting. So I think I.
All right, but while you're working on that, your team is first. So you got the Raiders and the Bengals. All right, we got the Raiders and the Bengals. Fall, go first.
I like the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to win. I just don't think the Raiders have the team. They look. They should have lost to the Chargers. They're playing
false.
They should have lost to the Chargers.
They should have blew out the Chargers the way they were playing.
They're playing inspired football, but man, I'm watching Cincy, and this is the first time in a long time that I've sat back and I'm like, wow, the Bengals look like a real freaking football team. And guess what? For everybody saying that the Raiders got nothing to lose, Cincy got nothing to lose either. God damn it! And they got better talent on that team than the Raiders do. I'm going with the Bengals.
Brian.
So the Bengals remind me of the 2010 Green Bay Packers when they were, I believe, they were a 6th seed, right? And they had an up and coming quarterback named Aaron Rodgers, who I believe that was his first time in the postseason, right? And pretty much killed it that year, right? Beat my team, and I haven't gotten over that loss, honestly. I have not gotten over that loss to Green Bay in the Super Bowl. I'm not saying the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm not going to go as far as to say that yet. What I'm saying is they have a quarterback that I feel like is just built for this moment. And we all saw what he did in the college football playoff, where he dismantled teams, Oklahoma, and dismantled Trevor Lawrence and Clemson. And he just seems like he's just built for this. I think this game's not going to be close, honestly. And one reason is I think the Raiders are riding a lot really, really high on emotion this year. And when you do that, you kind of feel like you're superhuman a little bit. You can do things that you're not supposed to do. And I think that kind of runs out now. I think the playoffs are just different, right? And I think the Bengals win this game by at least. I don't know what the spread is. Fog's my spread guy, so he knows. He
5.5.
he's my
It's at 5.5 right now.
Fog, say what?
It's at 5. It's at 5.5 right now.
5.5.
The Bengals are covering.
So I think the Bengals they're definitely going to cover. They'll definitely cover. I think they can win by 2 scores in this game.
I feel that I do believe that the Raiders are playing with house money. I think the fact that I'm definitely going with the Bengals. I don't care anything about the spread, Fog. I think if the Bengals do not punch the Raiders in the mouth early, this game is going to be way too close than it needs to be. I think the Bengals need to come out sharp, early, and effective, and kill any hope that the Raiders have. Like I said, the Raiders should not be here, but they are here. And Rick Bisciotti should get this head coaching job. I said that in the group. I think he should get a job. I think he should get the job. Go ahead, AJ.
So to go off of your point where you said if we don't punch them in the mouth early, we need to play clean football as well. And all of our wins, we play clean football. I can say literally throughout the season, every loss that we had were us shooting ourselves in the foot. Every loss, we had 3 turnovers. Every single loss, we've had 3 turnovers. And they've always been the variety that, it's something that you can't overcome. Just like in the Chargers game, the Packers game, the Browns game, all of those games, we didn't play clean. And so I think we need to come out clean, inspired, and I think we will. I will say throughout my time as a Bengals fan, this is the most confident in my team that I've been since 2005. Regardless of that run that we did between 2011 to 2016 with those 5 straight playoff appearances, I was never confident because we lacked that one thing. I've always, just like I said about with like Brian said with Tua, with Andy Dalton, everything around him had to be perfect. It had to be a well-oiled machine. The moment there was one chink in the armor, the moment that there was one piston not firing in the engine, he's going to collapse because he cannot work off script. He cannot win you games. He can keep you in game, but he's not going to win you games. Joe Burrow is what I like. There's very similarities to that 2005 team that I see, because during that 2005 season, people started talking about Carson Palmer. Is he a top 5 quarterback in the league? Is this the best offense in the league? Do they have enough firepower to get to the Super Bowl? And that's kind of what we've seen with this team. With Joe Burrow's presence, is he a top 5 quarterback? Is this the most explosive offense in the NFL? So I'm not predicting a Super Bowl, but I will say I'm very confident in what we've put on tape and how we played the Raiders earlier in the season. And mind you, this isn't the same Raiders team that we played prior to, but also this wasn't the same Bengals team that they played prior to as well, because T. Higgins literally came on the next game and he's been on a tear ever since. So that makes things a little bit harder. And Joe Mixon has never had a bad game against the Raiders because, one, he's from Oakland, so he loves playing against the Raiders. It's kind of just like when, you got Aaron Jones and other people going against the Cowboys. He's a Raider. I'm sure he grew up a Raiders fan, so he wants to play good against them. And so I think the Bengals win this. I think it's going to be I think it's actually going to be an ugly game for Derek Carr, because if you just go back and look at history, it's going to be about 20 degrees at kickoff, and it's only going to get colder. So warm weather team coming from the west to the east, I think it's just going to play into those disadvantages. And the Bengals get killed for not having an indoor practice facility. I think this is one of the times that actually pays off.
Keep it going. Go to the next game. We got the Bills and Patriots.
So not gonna lie.
Go ahead, Falk.
These two teams, both of them, check off 3 things that I love, and that 85% of teams who go to the Super Bowl win the Super Bowl. Check these lists off: top 10 defense, top 10 rushing attack, and a quarterback that doesn't throw the ball 60+% of the time. Here's the problem. Josh Allen is the running back for the Buffalo Bills. That's the thing that scares me the most about this, because the Bills I think the Bills are a better big play team. And I think, Josh Allen, I was wrong on this guy. This kid is a complete baller, and he's going to do everything he can to help this team win. But I'm going to roll with the Patriots on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to roll with New England, because I don't – if they're going to set up a game plan, it's going to be one that's got to stop Josh Allen. So you're going to make this team one-dimensional. So if Devin Singletary doesn't handle his business, yes, if Zach Moss isn't doing what he needs to do, if there's not a better running back on this team outside of Josh Allen, then I hate saying this, but I got to roll with the Pats on this one.
Just for the forwards that just checked in, we're going in order on the game, so don't worry, 49ers fans. We're gonna get to you guys. All right, Brian.
Fogg, I think Fogg said, we got to mention that Mac Jones last 4 games has 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. Mac Jones doesn't look great. He's a rookie. He's obviously hit this rookie wall.
Mm-hmm.
Teams have obviously caught on to what they like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Attack the middle of the field. They pretty much cut that on. He actually looks like, I'm not gonna lie to you, Mac Jones right now looks like the 3rd round pick he should have been. What he should have looked like.
They're just gonna say something else.
This is no. He looks like the 3rd round pick, the projected 3rd round pick. He looked like before he went on a tear, like from the end of the season to the national championship, which is when things started ramping up for him. This is what he should have been, right? I'm going Buffalo in this game because they have the better quarterback. They're playing at home, and I think it's just going to be extremely hard for the Patriots to duplicate what they did the last game. And then I think Mac Jones ran past it one time, which is just extremely stupid. And I think it's going to be extremely hard. Although I don't think the Bills will go very far in the playoffs, I do think they're going to have enough firepower to beat this Patriots team. And I think Josh Allen's going to have himself a pretty good game, but then I think it's going to stop next week, whoever they play. So yeah, I got the Bills in this game.
I got the Bills as well. I think the Patriots messed up when they lost the chance of people coming to New England.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that people are not coming to New England now, they have to go on the road. You have a young led quarterback. I do like Matt Jones. Yes, he did. He has been playing a little mediocre as of late. It's just the fact that I just think that round 1, the Bills are going to be the better team, and they're just going to win because they're at home. It's just that simple. It's going to be an ugly game, though. Definitely going to be an ugly AFC East winter January game. It's going to be ugly.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement. I think the Patriots are going to have an opportunity to win this game late, and it's solely because the peaks and valleys of Josh Allen. Josh Allen will look like a top 5 quarterback at times, and then he'll also look at Sam Darnold and make the weirdest turnover you have ever fucking seen in your life. So he's gonna give them a chance. And we know how Belichick defenses are; they will punish you if you make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Josh Allen is actually going to keep the Patriots in the game, but I think ultimately he will do what it takes, to get them over this hump. And with it being the first round and the Patriots not being at home and having the noise advantage, the crowd advantage, I think it's just a little bit too much to overcome. So I'm going with the Bills.
All right, keep it going. Next game, you got the Eagles and the Bucks. AJ, you go first.
Bucks. Next question.
You stole my answer.
Brian, would you like to expound on that?
I don't know much to expound on that, man. If this game was in Philly, they would still lose. but I would give them a better chance to not lose as bad, because I think Jalen Hurts plays a lot better at home than he plays on the road, right? And the numbers support that. So, but this is gonna be pretty bad. I'm going with the Bucks.
I don't know if my guy George is trolling or not, but he says Eagles with the upset.
Yeah, man, it's NFL, man. You've seen crazy.
I don't think trust me, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to actually be a pretty decent game because the Bucks are kind of still reeling. No Chris Godwin. You're going out there with Mike Evans. That defense hasn't been the defense that we've seen last year, so it can it can give up points. But I just think Brady's going to find a way.
But that's the thing. The part of their defense that's depleted, the Eagles can't exploit.
Exactly.
Vita
Vea is still there.
Yeah, and their strength is, they've been running the ball very well, and you don't really run on the Bucks. So the game is going to be closer than we think. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because, like you said, the Bucks are still, some of those weapons are still not on the same page with Brady. So it's going to be closer than usual, but I definitely have the Bucs winning this game. You don't want to go for
Okay.
I mean, damn. Can I say something nice about Philly? They have the best running attack in the NFL. Look, it's going to be a top the best rushing attack in the NFL right now against the one of the 5 best defenses against the run. So what do? You default and go to what's the passing game going to look like? Jalen Hurts, Tom Brady. Like, is there any question? Like, I don't look. I like Jalen Hurts. I think he gets too much shit, but he's going up against Tom Brady. And if we're gonna put it in perspective, and it's Brady and Hurts, and that's what this game. It's going to be a crazy game, and it's going to be close, like AJ said. But it's going to come down to what Brady's going to do and what Hurts is going to do. You know what's going to happen? Hurts is going to throw a pick. Brady's going to throw a touchdown. Game over.
Time of possession is going to be big in this game, though. I will say, since you said the running attack is pretty good, Fog, I wonder how many possessions the Bucs are going to get. Because I think as long as if the Eagles can control the football with the running game and not give Brady as many possessions as he wants, because it will take some time for them to get acclimated, right? I'm not saying the Bucs lose.
That's why it's going to be a close game.
I think it's going to be close in terms of like the box, like in terms of like the number. I think the score is going to look like, I think they're going to win like 2 touchdowns. I think eventually the Eagles are going to collapse, but I think they're going to keep it close until the 4th quarter.
If Philly doesn't turn the ball over, Philly actually has a chance at winning this game, accidentally stumbling and winning this.
I like the Washington football team last year with the.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's going to.
Tyler Heineke took care of the football. He made plays, and they didn't give Brady as many possessions. But he turned the ball over. I'm sorry, he turned the ball over. He turned the ball over, I believe, one or 2 times.
That's all you need. Shouts out to the real truth. He showed up just in time for we to talk about his team. 4th man in the building. I see you. So we got the 49ers and the Cowboys. Y'all know the rules. I will go last, so take it away.
I'm gonna go with Dallas. I gotta roll with Dallas. They were my sleeper at the beginning of the year, Super Bowl sleeper, and I can't change that because if I look at all these teams in the playoffs right now, front to back, offense and defense, this is the best team. This is the best team in the playoffs right now, the Dallas Cowboys. And they're just not putting it together on the offensive side of the ball. It's crazy, but San Francisco does not have the firepower. They're going to be entertaining. They do not have the firepower. I want to believe that the Cowboys are actually going to put it together offensively, put it together in the playoffs, and look like the team they did in the first half of this season when it was like the hate was coming, but you saw, if you were a football advocate, you're a football enthusiast, you saw the Dallas Cowboys offensively had one of the best teams. And what did I say? Hill, AJ, what did I say when we did that show? You guys invited me and Tom Scavetta on the show. I said the Dallas Cowboys offense is going to be a top 5 offense. And with the moves that team made defensively via the draft and free agency, bringing Dan Quinn in, they're not going to start out hot, but they're going to get better as the season goes on. And guess what? Dallas's defense has gotten better as the season has gone on. It's just a matter of this offense putting it together. I'm taking Dallas.
You upsetting the 49ers fans in the comments, just to let you know.
I know I am, but hey, that's what Martini Fog does.
All right, somebody else go. Somebody else.
Look,
I'm going last.
Because Reef is trying to like say, oh, you're gonna spew all of this 49ers hate. I don't know when I've ever said anything that I hate the 49ers. I don't know where that's coming from. So, like I've seen the 49ers up close. We've played the 49ers. I don't say anything about the 49ers. I do say that, Jimmy G is gonna be the one thing that's kind of that's going to kind of hamstring you in the playoffs. But I think this is going to be the only game this weekend that goes into overtime. And it's going to come down to quarterback play. I think the Dallas defense is very opportunistic. They can turn you over. They can put you in situations that will force your hand. And unfortunately, I think Jimmy G is susceptible to that. So if you can disguise some coverages, if Dan Quinn gets a little bit creative and does some inverted coverage, send some people, and put them where Jimmy G doesn't think that they'll be pre-snap, and you get a little bit of pressure on them, I think that's ultimately that one play is going to be what comes down to it. Like I said, I think it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last, and I just think the Cowboys are they're going to take it because I think they have a little bit more opportunity and a little bit more trust from me as far as getting the ball in the end zone. Yeah, I will say the 49ers have firepower, but to me, it's who's getting them the ball. Yeah, Debo, he's going to do whatever it takes. George Kittle might fuck around and have 12 catches this game for $150. But I just think that when it comes down to quarterback play, even though he's been kind of up and down this season as well, I just think Dak is a little bit better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And so I think that that's what's going to be the deciding factor. And I think this is the game that he will need this season to get over this game.
Listen, Elijah Mitchell is going to have to do a lot of work if San Francisco is going to win this game.
I mean, it's in the Shanahan offense. So I mean, running the ball, that's never going to be an issue. So that's actually not what I'm worried about. I think it's, like I said, I think it's going to come down to Jimmy G.
Brian, the floor is yours.
This is my favorite game to watch this weekend. I'm going to enjoy watching that. I think this is, in my opinion, the game of the week because these two teams are pretty evenly matched. I have two guys who this game is going to be who's going to come down to. I think this game is going to come down to. I don't think it's going to come down to Jimmy G. I think all you hit on the head. I think it's going to come down to Elijah Mitchell. The more physical, I think it's going to come down to for the Cowboys. It's not going to come down to Dak. I think it's going to come down to Zeke Elliott and what he. I think the more physical football team up front is going to win this game. I do. I don't think this game's going to be high flying. I don't see 40 points put up by Dallas. I think this is going to be a time of possession game. The X factor in this game for me, though, and I've been saying it all year, I have been very vocal. I think this guy should have got MVP votes. I really do. Debo Samuel is the X factor in this game. If Debo Samuel somehow goes off, and Kyle Shanahan does a hell of a job getting the ball in this man's hands. And when he has the football in his hands, they're a dangerous football team to stop. Right, and it opens up things for everyone. I haven't seen a single player. Honestly, I'm not trying to be hyperbole when I say this. I haven't seen a player open up things for everyone like this on an offense. Probably since a guy like a guy like Percy Harvin, right? Guy like that just opened up things for everyone on the field because he was just so dynamic. He could do everything. He had to account for him because he can score anyone on the field. Like that's my X factor in this game. I think Elijah Mitchell is as well. That's my biggest X factor in this game, as well as Zeke Elliott. I think they're going to win the football. I do. I think if Dak's throwing the ball 60 times in this game, I think Dallas ends up losing. But God, I like this, man. I got the most dangerous team in football in this game, man. I got San Francisco in this game. I think if there's any team that can win on the road the whole time, I got San Francisco.
I was waiting for you or Fogg to pick the 49ers. So and you let your brother down, Fogg, but it's okay. Win or lose, Dallas Duo will be recording live right after the game. Shameless plug. So hopefully we can win so I can be professional. This is a scary game. Like I said, we all know 49ers can run the ball. They run the ball with the best of them. Their recent losses have been when they've been held under 100 yards rushing. So we can do that. And I think more so than just stopping the run, you just stop the run. I think our offense has to show up. I think if our offense shows up and puts up points, it already that negates the running game. I understand that 49ers fans, they want to mention their firepower. Yes, you do have Brandon Ayuk. Yes, you do have Deebo Samuel. Yes, you do have George Kittle. Yes, you do have a running game in Elijah Mitchell. But you do not put up points with the best of the league. Like
hell of an offensive line too.
Yeah, like let's be honest. Like y'all not a team that's preeminently scoring 35 points in the league. Let's just be honest. Y'all more of a ball control offense. I mean, let's be real. So if we can put up points, because we can put up 30 on anybody, we put up 30 on everybody. So I believe if our offense comes to play, that brings our defense up to play. I'm going with my guys. So there's no secret here. I'm going with my guys. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a tough game. But hey, I'm going with my guys. And like I said, win or lose, Dallas Duo will be recording after the game. Simple
Absolutely.
As that.
So let's go on to this Chiefs-Steelers game.
Before we get against the NFC. Yeah, we put up 40 against the NFCs, but actually say if you watch the rest of the game, we put up 30 on everybody else. Like you said, we was praising the Patriots, Bill Belichick D. We put up points on them too. Let's not get crazy. Let's be honest that like we don't put up points. I understand that y'all in there. Y'all want me all hype. Y'all want me to talk trash and all that. But let's be honest. Kill that bum ass narrative of this ain't the NFC East. We put up points against everybody. Like, let's be honest. Let's move on to the next game.
Number one scoring team.
Like we're the number one offense. Everything. We only played the NFC East six games. We only played the NFC East 6 games.
Hey,
and
listen,
number one offense.
I had to
number
argue
one
this.
Offense, man.
I had to argue this with Patriots haters for years. Oh, they're only playing the AFC East. Yeah, but they're beating everybody else in the fucking playoffs.
Right.
They weren't playing losing teams in the playoffs. Like,
I hated that argument too. I hate it.
Like, come on. So we got the Steelers and the Chiefs. AJ, you can go first. I know you about to say the
Yeah. So Brian, say your farewells. They go back, watch, all those glorious Steeler days of Big Ben when he actually had some mobility. He was throwing the ball all around the yard, handing the ball off to guys like, Jerome Bettis and, the Bus and all of that. Throwing the ball to Hines Ward, A.B., even Martavis Bryant. Remember him? Yeah.
Loved him.
Yeah. Get all that out your system, because this is it. Your ass is going home. I actually want you guys to win, but y'all going home. And it's not gonna be pretty.
Well, if that's the case, I'm picking the Steelers with no logic whatsoever. I mean, I have logic. I have logic, but it's like faith. It's like faith. It's not going to make any sense. Like, it's not going to make any sense. It's not going to make any sense because they can't do what the Bengals did to the Chiefs. That's the blueprint of let's attack this secondary on the Chiefs. Yeah, Ben really can't throw, but I understand for some reason
like it's a boulder.
But they in the playoffs. That's the thing. They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%.
You talking about a team that's playing with house money? Oh,
yeah, they are
this
playing.
team is playing with house money, and they have a chip on their shoulder. They hearing all the naysayers. They hearing they about to be blown out. They have pride. This team has pride. They are well coached, and let's be honest. Andy Reid still he not far from moving being Mike D'Antoni of the NFL. Let's be honest. Let's not make it seem like he's just super clutch. Like he can fall back. So let's get it. And and it's going to be a close game. It's going to be ugly. And Steelers going to win. Go, Fog. Tell me how wrong I am.
That's some Fog mix right there for your ass.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, bullshit. I use logic. There was no logic there. That was straight emotion.
But I said that.
That was feelings.
I said
There's
that,
a difference between Yo, you're right. What AJ was saying is completely off base. I use logic. Here's a reality. He's 5th in passing yards all time, 8th in touchdowns all time, has 2 Super Bowl rings, had an illustrious career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sorry. I'm reading Ben Roethlisberger's obituary because that's what's going to happen this weekend against Kansas City. Look, look, Hill's right. The Steelers are going to be playing on strict emotion. And that is dangerous. But I just look at Kansas City at the end of the day, and I'm like, man, you're not going to be able to outscore this team. And Patrick Mahomes, the fucking guy, finds a way to make a play happen. And if I had to make a decision and say, if the game's on the line, who am I rolling with here? Am I going to go with Mahomes or I'm going with Big Ben? Look, Ben looks like he's planted in cement in that pocket. Did you guys see the throw Patrick Mahomes made last week across his body, running the opposite side of the field?
It was pretty.
I got to go with KC on the strength of Patrick Mahomes alone.
Hey, he also did an amazing pass, too, that was incompleted against the Bengals. Like, I mean, he makes amazing passes.
Well, Tyreek should have came down with that catch, though.
Hey, but it was incomplete, and Tyreek's hurt. Tyreek has an injury. Kelsey got hurt. I mean, he nicked up. They're going to play, of course. But they struggled with the Broncos that had absolutely nothing to play for, and they were playing for
That's a dangerous team, though.
They knew their coach was getting fired. They knew they had absolutely nothing to play for but to ruin the draft pick. Yeah. And they struggled. And this team was actually trying to get the number 1 seed, and they struggled. And they own the Broncos, so they make it seem like they always struggle. They play them tough. They have like 12-0 recently, like against the Broncos. Like, let's be honest, they struggle. I'm telling you, pure emotion means something.
But struggle with the Jets don't mean that they
and they should have lost. This ain't the playoff. Hey, I don't give a if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I ain't a Steelers fan. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, I'm picking the Steelers. So it's documented. Go ahead, Brian.
So this is obviously one of the biggest mismatches we have. It just is. It honestly reminds me like a one playing a 16 seed in March Madness, right? I mean, it is. I mean, it is in terms of like just talent and in terms of just aura, right? You know, the one thing I will say that you're right about D Hill is that we are playing with I don't know who said it. I'm not sure who said it.
It was me. It was me. I'm the only one to say anything positive about
it. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder, right? And they are, and they're playing for Ben. Right? You're playing for Ben. They're playing. This is Ben's last game in a Steeler uniform, right? It could be, right? It could potentially be his last game, so they have that riding for them. I mean, they were playing for him like that last week against Baltimore. But that's what I worry about, right? Look how much energy we expunged against Baltimore just to get here, right? You know what I mean? So look how much energy we expunged the last 2 or 3 weeks just to get here, right? Like. And if Ben expunged, I mean, look at the energy we expunged against the Browns when his last home game. I mean, it's just been an emotional, draining last 2 to 3 weeks for this football team. And, you know, I don't know how much they have left to expunge in terms of giving all they can for Ben. I think that the Chiefs aren't putting, what was it, 30-10 last time? They ain't doing that again to it this time. Football players and Mike Tomlin has way too much pride. Mike Tomlin will trip somebody again before that happens. Okay, I promise you that. That's not gonna happen, right? That's not gonna happen. I think this game is gonna be relatively close, but not close, if that makes sense. I think we're gonna keep it close going into like third quarter. And I think the Chiefs are like the Warriors, right? They go crazy in the second half, right? Crazy. Somehow they just go in and they just go nuts. And I think that's what's gonna happen. I think we're gonna go into the half probably about 10-3, and then we'll have. As a fan, I'll get my confidence up. I say, Najee about to bust a big one, or Big Ben's gonna throw a bomb to maybe Deontay. That ain't gonna happen. But what's going to happen is KC's going to come out in that first drive in third quarter and just light us up, and it's going to be 17-3. And next thing you know, it's one of those games, right? So I think obviously Kansas City wins this game. They have the best quarterback, but Mike Tomlin's not going to let this team just go out the way they went out last time. There's just no way.
He ain't on the field.
There's no.
Ain't gotta be. He ain't gotta be.
Mike Tomlin. He don't gotta be. Mike Tomlin. In my opinion, Mike Tomlin's the best coach in football. I say it, right. He's the best coach. He's the best coach in the game right now, and he's not gonna let this team go out. So it's gonna. Chiefs are gonna win this game. Obviously, I love the Steelers to win, but you know, I know.
Yeah.
I was waiting for this. No one said anything.
I was going to say it.
I was gonna say it, but bro, I ain't want to interrupt you. I'm like, hey, bro, that was some wild shit to say. And then when you said Big Ben, I'm like, oh, what's coming next?
What's coming next?
Najee's gonna bust a big one, then Big Ben. I'm like, all right, now.
Like, what is going on here?
It's a Pornhub title.
Maybe the last 4 QQ. 4
He pulling up for the snap.
He's winning this game. It's been a fun year. I'm just waiting for. I'm not a fan of Ben, by the way. So he can go.
If anybody has seen anything that you said, we know you hate Ben.
Go and go.
Okay, so we got the Monday night game. First time in ever playoff game. We got the Cardinals versus the Rams. Another divisional game. It's the third time. They split in the season. So 3-man we've at the top. Anybody can go first on this one.
I hope this fucking game ends in a tie. I hope it ends in a tie. I'm so pissed off with the overhype of the Rams and the overhype of Kyler Murray and Kevin Stefanski and the Arizona Cardinals. I hope this game ends in a tie. Not only a tie, a 3-3 tie. Like they're going, how are we going to solve this problem? Look, I think defensively, Arizona up until 4 weeks ago was checking off every box. Quarterback wasn't throwing the ball 60% of the time. The running game was top 5. The defense was top 10. And then all of a sudden, the wheels fell off of that bitch. That bus just dropped. Tires flat, axle pop, the whole 9. I'm like, what is going on here? And then Kyler Murray was playing tall, but then it's like, oh, I'm really only 3'3" and I can't see over these guys. And all of a sudden the interceptions are coming. He's making bad decision after bad decision. I think the Rams are going to win this game off of the strength of veteran leadership and having been there before. But I think Arizona can really make a game out of this. And if Kyler cannot, just don't turn the ball over, dude. Don't turn the ball over. If you don't turn the ball over, you give your team the best chance at winning. And that's been a problem. And since I think Kyler has 6 interceptions in the last 4 games or 5 games, something like that. So, yeah, something has to change there. Arizona can make a game out of this, but I think the Rams ultimately are going to be able to win.
So I would love to see Arizona win. Just off of personal things, I want to see AJ Green get a playoff victory as well. But without DeAndre Hopkins, this team just this offense just looks completely different.
Yep,
it just looks completely different, and we've seen the difference maker that DeAndre Hopkins is, and now this only this further drives that point. And without DeAndre Hopkins, and you still have to go up against Jalen Ramsey, you still have to deal with Aaron Donald, and you still have to deal with that defense. So I think it's going to be tough. And the hardest thing is, especially for a smaller quarterback, was like pressure up the middle. And that's what Aaron Donald's going to bring. He's going to be in, we've seen it. He will be in Kyler Murray's face. So I just think it's going to cause things. It's just going to make things fall apart for the Cardinals. And I don't think that they'll be able to overcome it. So I'm gonna go to Rams.
That's the question.
AJ Green is not the curse, by the way.
Who do y'all trust more in this game? Matt Stafford or Kyler Murray?
So I can answer that since I'll go real quick and I'll answer that. too, right? Because AJ just said a lot of things about they don't have D-Hop, but they but the Cardinals still have to go up against Jalen Ramsey. They still have to go up against Von Miller. They still have to go up against Aaron Donald, possibly the best defender and the best defensive player in the league, arguably, right? Two of them on the same team, right?
Respect Darius Williams too on the other side.
And who?
Darius Williams, the other cornerback on the other side.
The team is loaded defensively, right? But you know who else the Rams gotta go up against? They gotta go up against Matt Stafford too. Okay, that's who else the Rams gotta go up against. Matt Stafford has 7 interceptions in the last 4 games, right?
So if with Kyler has 6, do the Cardinals have to go up against Kyler Murray as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right,
but
then so kind of it's a push, right?
Here's what I'll say. I would say I'll say that Arizona. I'm sorry, LA has been on more. Their loss to San Francisco hurt more, in my opinion, than Arizona's loss to Seattle. Right? They needed that game, San Francisco. LA. They needed that game for their own confidence. Right? They're walking into this game with Arizona with a lack of confidence. I believe in their quarterback right now because he has not played well. And this is the guy that's supposed to save them, right? This is a veteran quarterback. Kyler is in his 3rd year. He's playing with house money. Mm-hmm. And he got to the playoffs for the first year in his career, right? So if Kyler goes out and throws 4 picks or 3 picks, it's fine. He's cool. His 3rd year, he'll learn, right?
It won't be fine, but I get what you're saying.
I think he's gonna be okay. I think people will forget. He'll get better. I think he will. Matt Stafford is a veteran quarterback in this league, and he has a lot of demons to exercise, right? Because people have been saying for a long time that there's 2 sides, right? Matt Stafford, he's underrated. He played for Detroit. What do you want him to do, right? What do you want him to do? And then then the other side says, well, he's overrated, right? And he doesn't win any playoff games, and his playoff numbers aren't that great either. So Matt Stafford is a guy that's on the hook. And I picked the Rams, and if all knows this, I picked the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. I said it on our show, right? Mm-hmm. They'd signed Matt Stafford. I said, boom, Super Bowl bound. So I'm gonna stick with that. I'm not gonna run away with that, even though I'm not as confident as I was 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm gonna go with the Rams this game. I think Matt Stafford bounces back, and I think the lights are gonna be a little too bright for Arizona to overcome. So I trust Matt Stafford a little more, only because I think the veteran is going to come is more trustworthy than what Kyler Murray has in terms of his inexperience in the playoffs.
Here's my thing. I trust Matt Stafford having Cooper Kupp more than I trust Kyler Murray without having DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
This game is definitely a toss-up, like I've been seeing the Fours been saying in the chat. I disagree with your point, Brian, about the losing to the Seahawks last week was not that important. Because if they'd have won the game, they would have been the number 2 seed. So, like I said, you went from number 1 seed, and the only thing you lost was going down to the number 2 seed. You ruined that. So now like you said, now you're playing an away game. I think a home game in Arizona would have definitely been more significant than a home game in LA. It's no home field advantage for LA at all. But Arizona does have real fans, so it would have been better for them to get a home game. It would have made more. It would have made more sense for them to win this game. But like I said, like the Four's been saying, the Cardinals are definitely a different team without DeAndre Hopkins. Like you said, Jalen Ramsey can definitely handle AJ Green, and like that's not even a talk. That's not even a discussion. I do not trust Matt Stafford at all, but they will win this game. They will find a way to win this game. That's it. But that's when their luck stops, is what I'm going to say. They are Super Bowl and busting, but they're not going to – this is where it stops. That's it for me.
Sounds pretty good.
And they signed – look at it. They
that
signed
was wild to me.
Eric Weddle.
When that came across, I'm like, what the hell?
That was weird to me, too. I don't know what that's about, but I don't get that either.
I'm going to tell you what's that's just terrible. Yeah, you got to go get Eric Weddle. You ain't go get him the week before. Like, he know, like Like, come on, now he knew the playoffs was coming. Like, this is terrible. But I want to thank you all for joining us. We had definitely fun. We'll definitely probably get cussed out from the show after this. This is episode 137. You catch us on all major podcast platforms, 3Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3Man Weave _. You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. I'm Hill. That's AJ. Shouts out to Cannon, Brian, the Fog. Appreciate you guys for joining.
And coming soon, 3Man Weave After Dark.
And definitely shouts out to the Fours. Y'all was definitely holding us down tonight. Fourth man in the building.
We out.
We out.